It's unclear who was behind the recent hacking attack on Sony Pictures, but cybersecurity experts are now investigating whether an insider played a crucial role in this alarming breach. According to the US cybersecurity firm Norse Corporation, at least one former employee could have assisted the hackers in orchestrating the attack, raising serious concerns about internal security vulnerabilities. If true, this would mean that the breach was not just a sophisticated external hack but an inside job that exploited Sony's own infrastructure. Meanwhile, millions of gamers worldwide have found themselves suddenly locked out of PlayStation Network once again. But this isn't just another routine outage. Some are calling it a full-fledged cyber attack, while others fear it could mark the beginning of something even more sinister. Could this be a prelude to a larger-scale cyber warfare attack? What exactly is happening to Sony's servers? And more importantly, could this be just the tip of the iceberg in a much larger cybersecurity crisis that extends beyond gaming and into the world of corporate espionage? Many are drawing comparisons to the infamous 2011 PlayStation Network hack that resulted in the personal data of 77 million users being compromised. That event was a wake-up call for the entire gaming industry, forcing companies to re-evaluate their security protocols. But did Sony learn from that catastrophic breach, or are they once again failing to protect their users? Could history be repeating itself, or is this an entirely new and even more sophisticated cyber threat? Is this a well-coordinated cyber attack, a catastrophic failure in Sony's infrastructure, or something even more complex that we haven't even begun to comprehend yet? Today, we take an in-depth look at the situation, its far-reaching impact, and what it all means for the gaming community at large. Here's what we know so far. PlayStation Network began experiencing major disruptions earlier today, with gamers across the globe reporting widespread issues, including login failures, difficulties making purchases, and even being unable to launch games they already own. Sony has yet to provide a full explanation, but this is shaping up to be far more than just a minor technical glitch. The outage is extensive, impacting not only PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 users but also cloud-based services, raising serious concerns about the stability of Sony's entire gaming ecosystem. Could this be a calculated attack aimed at crippling the company's online presence, or is there a larger scheme at play? What's even more concerning is that these outages seem to be happening with increasing frequency. And it's not just PlayStation users who are feeling the effects. Microsoft services, Steam, and even major banking apps have suffered similar disruptions in recent weeks. Could this be part of a larger, coordinated cyber offensive designed to disrupt multiple industries simultaneously? Or are we merely witnessing an unfortunate series of coincidental failures? And if this is a coordinated attack, who stands to benefit? Could this be the work of state-sponsored hackers, organized cybercriminal groups, or rogue individuals with an agenda? Sony has acknowledged the outage, but their reluctance to disclose specific details has only fueled growing speculation. Was this the work of cybercriminals? A calculated act of sabotage? Or is Sony's infrastructure simply crumbling under the weight of modern demands? The truth remains elusive, but one thing is clear: confidence in PlayStation Network's security and reliability is rapidly diminishing. With each passing outage, players are left wondering whether Sony is truly equipped to handle the challenges of an increasingly hostile digital landscape. We've seen devastating cyber attacks before. The 2011 PlayStation Network breach exposed the personal information of nearly 77 million users, forcing Sony to take its entire network offline for a staggering 23 days. Then, in 2014, a hacking group allegedly backed by North Korea completely obliterated Sony Pictures' internal servers over the controversial film The Interview. If this latest incident is another deliberate attack, the pressing question becomes: who is responsible, and what is their ultimate goal? Some experts speculate that infamous hacker groups like Lizard Squad, who previously crippled PlayStation and Xbox Live in 2014, could be behind this. But what if this isn't just an elaborate prank? Cybercriminals today have access to advanced tools that didn't exist a decade ago, including AI-driven malware, sophisticated phishing techniques, and large-scale ransomware attacks. Could we be witnessing one of the most significant cyber attacks on a gaming platform in history? And if so, what kind of information or assets are at risk? Hacking is no longer just about causing digital mayhem for fun. Cybercrime has evolved into a multi-billion-dollar industry, driven by motives far beyond simple mischief. Leaked user data, ransomware demands, and even state-sponsored cyber warfare are all possible explanations. Could Sony have been caught in the crossfire of a much larger, more dangerous cyber conflict? Could this be a test run for something even bigger, perhaps a large-scale attack on multiple global tech corporations? For the average gamer, this outage isn't just an inconvenience, it's a direct disruption to their entertainment, social connections, and even their livelihoods. With esports and content creation rapidly growing industries, PlayStation's inability to maintain a stable and secure network could have profound consequences. Professional streamers, esports competitors, and gaming influencers rely on PlayStation Network to engage with their audiences, compete in tournaments, and generate income. An outage of this magnitude can lead to lost revenue, cancelled events, and growing frustration within the gaming community. If Sony can't provide a reliable online service, will gamers start looking elsewhere? Could this mark a turning point in the dominance of PlayStation in the gaming world? There's also the financial impact on everyday gamers. Those who have recently purchased digital games, downloadable content, or in-game microtransactions may find themselves completely locked out of their purchases. This raises serious concerns about PlayStation Network's long-term stability and whether Sony has sufficient security measures in place to protect its customers' investments during these unexpected disruptions. If outages continue to occur, will players start demanding refunds, or worse, legal action? So, the biggest question remains, when will PlayStation Network be back online? Unfortunately, there's no definitive answer. If this is merely a technical server issue, Sony may be able to restore service within a matter of hours. However, if this is the result of a major cyber attack, recovery could take days, or even weeks. The 2011 PlayStation Network breach required an excruciating 23 days of downtime, while more recent DDoS attacks on gaming networks have ranged from several hours to multiple days. Could this outage be the longest yet? Right now, Sony's engineers are undoubtedly working around the clock to diagnose and resolve the issue. But if personal data has been stolen or compromised, the aftermath could be even worse, leading to forced logouts, mandatory password resets, and potentially serious data breaches. Could this be the beginning of another Sony scandal, one that shakes consumer trust for years to come? So, what can gamers do in the meantime? The best course of action is to stay informed. Keep an eye on PlayStation's official status page for real-time updates. Avoid clicking on suspicious emails or messages that claim to offer quick fixes for login issues, as these could be phishing attempts. And if Sony confirms that user data has been compromised, change your passwords immediately to minimize potential damage. We'll continue monitoring this story closely as it develops. Stay tuned for the latest updates on PlayStation Network's status, cybersecurity threats, and the future of online gaming. Let's hope this outage doesn't drag on too long and that Sony takes the necessary steps to prevent something like this from happening again in the future.